Welcome everyone tonight to our May 4th, 2026 Farmville Board of Commissioners Town Hall meeting. Thank you for being here. I can't tell you how amazing it is to look out and see, I'll call this a packed house. This is a packed house right now, standing room only. So thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to ask Mr. Wes Thomas to come up for our invocation.
Good evening. Let us pray. Father God, we just want to thank you right now for all our many blessings, Lord. We want to thank you for how you're blessing each one in this room, Lord, in some way, God, and we ask that you continue to do so, Lord. Lord, help this board and the mayor be able to conduct the business of this town in a way that is fair and equal and best fits our town as a whole, Lord. And Father God, let us all act in a way that is glorifying to you. And we pray this all right now in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. And if you are able, please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on our list, we have citizen presentations. Let me say, if you are part of one of our organizations that has requested funding, this is not the time when you would come up. There is going to be a section for you. And if you did not see your name on the list, there is room. That was an error, so don't get nervous here. So I'm going to ask James and MJ if you would come up, and if you will give us your name and your address.
Mic hot. First of all, thank you, Farmville leadership, Mr. Mayor, for allowing us to come in, all the fellow citizens in Farmville, allow us to come in and talk about our issue this evening. My name is James Cromartie. This is my wife, Mary Jean, and for those that do know, just go by MJ. You know, we reside at 3542 South Walnut. You know, we're kind of catacomb from Truist Bank. You know, we're right in town. We love it, great location. You know, we moved here about 4 years ago from Pennsylvania, and we fell in love with Farmville. You know, we can walk. You know, we got May Museum. I can sit on the porch and check out all the music in the park. Love it. You know, the people are great. And we worked hard to upgrade our house, our property, and so have most of our neighbors around. We got some great neighbors. We got some things going on in the neighborhood that aren't as good, and we'll kind of touch on a little bit of that. But the last 4 years since we've been here, we've noticed significant deterioration around our neighborhood, particularly when you look on West Pine going down the fields and then towards Main Street. That whole section, there's some several abandoned properties falling into disrepair. They've overgrown, and it's bad. It's a bad look, and it's bad for the neighborhood. You know, we need the help of the administration and anybody else in the township to support this, to fix the problem. But the reason we're here this evening, we want to talk about one specific problem related to that location I talked about. And we're going to talk to you about 0 West Pine Street. And Mary Jean's going to elaborate on where 0 West Pine Street is, because it's an eyesore and it's a concern of ours. MJ.
Hello. 0 West Pine Street is located directly across from the May Museum, which is a Farmville treasure. If you have ever attended an event at the museum like Music in the Park, you most likely parked near 0 West Pine. 0 West Pine, according to Opus, which is the online parcel information system, Pitt County, is a 4,013 square foot lot made up of 4 parcels. 3 are zoned residential, 1 is zoned commercial. The land class is residential according to Opus, and the owner is the Farmville Real Estate Collective, LLC. No taxes are owed, and the special district category is industrial. 0 West Pine does not appear on Zillow or Realtor.com, and so I went, So I plugged 0 West Pine into the search bar, and it appeared on a site called Crexy.com. Commercial Real Estate Exchange Incorporated. On Crexy, this property is listed as the same 4,013 square feet, but in this case, the property type is industrial. The zoning code is ID The parcel use description is industrial. The zoning subtype is industrial. According to Crexie, and I don't know if this is correct, this is just what I got off the internet. According to Crexie, the land is owned by the town of Farmville, which is in dispute with what Opus said, which is the real estate company. So what exactly is the problem other than the discrepancy of ownership? 0 West Pine is currently used as an industrial dump site. An industrial dump surrounded by a chain link fence. And this is upsetting to me because it's bad. What is on the property? Scrap construction items, abandoned vehicles with no visible license plate or registration, trailers, a large shipping container, metal buildings, an old basketball stand tipped over, piles of yard debris, and I'm talking piles of yard debris, large industrial liquid storage containers, old farm equipment, etc. It's basically an industrial graveyard. Very visible to everyone that drives by, walks by, parks by, or most importantly, anyone that lives nearby. What we want, and what everyone should want, is for this property to be properly cleaned up and zoned appropriately, and that is residential. An industrial dumping ground should not be located steps away from Main Street, steps away from family homes with children, steps away from the May Museum. In the short term, we would like the property owner, whoever that may be, to adhere to the existing regulations, which we believe require a solid 4-foot or 6-foot fence, depending on the height, the pile of the garbage. That requirement is according to Farmville zoning regulation 157.034, industrial district. Do you want me to quote the regulations, sir?
No, I think your time.
All right, I have time. Okay. All right, in closing, we invite you to take a field trip to the dump.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to bring that to our attention. Town Manager Oakes, can I ask that you help us identify the owner of this property?
Yes, I actually, if you don't mind.
Please,
address,
absolutely.
yes. So I was made aware earlier today of the situation, and we're going to have a letter drafted and sent out to begin the process on that tomorrow. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it.
Healthy Girls Project, am I assuming this is for presentation, so we'll hold off on right now? Okay. Same thing with the Arts Council? You got it. Lauren Butler. And if you will state your name and your address, please.
My name is Lauren Butler. I live at 3363 Planters Way Drive. And what it's like living in Farmville, well, let's talk about it. 5 years ago, I bought what I thought was my dream home. I worked all my life for the federal government, as well as maintaining a non-emergency transport. Well, around the first week, maybe even like 2 days after moving in, I get a knock at the door, thinking it's a new neighbor, maybe it's a welcome gift. It definitely was. It was followed by certified letters from the town manager himself. He came multiple times to my house and threatened me with a Class 2 misdemeanor for having a business sign in my yard. It was an advertisement. It was there because Medicaid needed to verify the business move. What I thought was a nice place soon became a nightmare. From that point forward, I have been totally disrespected on my property multiple times. The water department, as well as the town manager, has lied and lied to me for months. The water company will tell you they will do what they want to in your yard if they want to. They have proven today they don't care about authority. I have met with the town manager several times. I've been lied to. I've been misled. The police give people rights to my yard even when telling them no. I have met with the water director himself, with Justin. While in the meeting, I showed them that they are advertising 2024 rates but charging 2025, which is false advertisement. It was August of 2025 and Farmville's website still said 2024 rates. The water director didn't believe me, so he looked at his phone. He became so irate at me for this, he jumped at me as if he wanted to fight me. I asked Justin to remove him several times from the meeting. The town manager asked this man several times before he left the room, still acting out on behalf of the town. I was flabbergasted. I asked the town manager, "Are you his boss?" She replied, "Yes." I told him right then he had no authority, and I asked, was his job worth the friendship? Apparently, the friendship he has with the city may reflect his lack of authority. Being I had so many problems with the water director and his employees, the mayor and the town manager agreed to come up with a solution to email me when they are supposed to be coming onto my property. Mind you, this may seem much, but there was an agreement based off multiple lies told from the planning department. Justin told me for months our water meter was automatic and they didn't need to come onto my property. After months, they're still coming on the property, sitting in front of my house to the point it's antagonizing me. Because there is no boundaries or respect, I asked, why is this happening to my meter and only my meter? The answer is I was lied to. To this day, I'm not sure why they would say it's electric, then it's not. I still don't know. The whole department has been made aware of this notice first, but I knew it wouldn't last. If the department knows the situation because they caused it, they have been told by the town manager several times, but yet they refuse to care. I've been quiet. If there's a problem on my address, I should be the first to know about it, especially with a light bill of $900. I have met with the town manager at the point I felt sympathy, but today shows this town will do what they want when they want. They say move to Farmville, think twice. The police do whatever they want, give rights away to my property. It's crazy that you have to go through these measures. What I don't understand is the years this town has protected their own. Forget the citizen. 5 years of antagonizing story from the town manager who was on the planning department for years before being promoted, but he doesn't even know the rules and regulations or the planning. The same one who wanted to lock me up for 2 days and in 5 years later promoted. He's the city manager promoted from the planning but doesn't even know the code itself. As the city manager or the planning, if a problem in my yard exists, I have asked them to fix it and move on. Instead, I'm led with these false promises, a simple fix, one simple fix. But the town would rather it come to this. Someone needs to be held accountable. Agreement is an agreement, and that agreement has been broken. There's no more apologies, no more excuses. If not him, then who? Everyone is made today aware, May 4th, 2024. So now that the board knows it's time to step up, it could have been so simple, a simple miscommunication that the town would rather come to this than to be the person they signed up to be. If not now, then when? It's a job, not a game. It's so much I've heard about Farmville lately, it's sad. The fire department, the planning department as well, on up to your lies, on up to the chaos you've allowed. It's sad when you go to the town, they allow men who want to fight women. So what's it like in Farmville? Just be prepared. You're either in or you're out. Emails, calls, letters, face-to-face, it doesn't matter. I believe it has become funny for y'all to see me coming. It's time to tighten up on y'all's departments of this town. It's either your friendship or your job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. Lisa Vanderford? Are you speaking?
I am not, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I like when people use this as a sign-up sheet for attendance. We get a lot of participation. Renee Ayers?
Yeah, I'm not speaking.
Oh, gosh.
I was just signing in.
Stephen Hardy-Braz? You didn't sign up?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I was recently reading on WIT an interesting article regarding two nearby towns with a creative idea on how to save tax funds by reducing administrative costs, as well as how to increase voter turnout and participation in our elections. Saving taxpayer funds means everyone here would have more money for expenses like gas, food, utilities, emergencies, unexpected costs, savings, investments in both improvements and growth. Election sites here cost us, I found out, a significant amount of money in Pitt County. I was told that each voting site costs roughly $30,000. That's just for the one day each site. So here in Farmville, we have two sites, so voting in Farmville costs an estimated $60,000 since we don't have an early voting site. If we did, it'd be even more. According to the North Carolina State Board of Education, or Elections, the database of voter turnout and trend is, I think it's pretty clear. If it's municipal only, so these are odd number years, in 2015, it's 14%, 2017, 17%, 2019, 16%, 21, 16%, 23, 15.9%, and 25, 19.75%. So only less, maybe 17, 18% of people who can vote in municipal elections vote. When it's a national election year, again, they're going to alternate between the House or Senate and House and Senate, or House, Senate, and presidential. Back in 2014, 44.02%. In 2016, presidential year, 68.98%. 2018, a non-presidential, 52.98. In 2020, an election, presidential, 75.35. In 22, 51.14. 24, 73.73. So clearly, when it's a presidential election year, about 3/4 of people go out and vote. When it's not, about half do. When it's not any of those, 1 in 5 that can vote go out and vote. Yet we're still paying $60,000 a year for this. What's happened is the town of Pink Hill and New Bern has decided to move their municipal elections to an even number year, so to piggyback this and save money on these odd number years. So you wouldn't have an election cycle every single year, you'd have it every other year. And so that would be here, and I'm told the village of Simpson in Pitt County has already done that. So this would save us not only money, energy, and resources. Imagine not having to see the streets cluttered and littered with election yard signs every single year. I mean, this would cut them in half. I mean, not literally cut them in half. Like, this would count the number of times you see them in half. I don't want to say I'm destroying any election signs or anything. So if the commissioners desired, we could explore joining the efforts of Pink Hill and New Bern and other towns by having our elections on every even years. I don't know about you, but I'd like to save $60,000 every 2 years. If non-savings, maybe some of those funds could go to the organizations who are going to be presenting their needs to you later tonight for the budget, and you'll be denying many of their requests because of the lack of funds. I'm sure they would like to save some of that money and use it for their desires. I ask that you consider this idea and instruct town administrators and representatives to add a Farmville to the name onto this bill, along with Pink Hill and New Bern. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy-Braz. Lisa Hardy-Braz.
Whoa, sorry about that. I'm trying to save paper here since I am going to talk about recycling. So we just celebrated Earth Day, April 22nd, and there was a wonderful activity at the library where lemonade was made and they planted a lemon tree. And it's a very common practice on Arbor Day to plant trees. And I think it's a fabulous tradition and practice to continue. However, if we're really caring about the earth and we're planting trees, we also need to take into account how much pollution are we actually dumping into the earth, and planting trees, how is that going to help us? So just a few highlights, and I have a whole lot more information that I'm happy to share as I was researching this, but I'm going to just focus on simple things since I only have 3 minutes. One of the things we're all very familiar with is styrofoam, and we probably all use styrofoam at least once a week, right? What we might not know is that styrofoam takes 500 years to decompose, so it sits polluting our environment for 500 years. Very often people will comment that, oh, but it's so expensive for restaurants and other organizations to provide decompostable materials. And yes, decompostable materials are more expensive. However, they're only 3 times the price. So if we pay 5 cents for styrofoam, we pay 15 for decompostable materials. When we go and get takeout meal, average, I'm going $8 to $10 just to keep figures simple. How many of us here would be willing to pay an extra 10 cents on $10 to not put styrofoam into our environment that takes 500 years to decompose? Another comment I've heard often is, why bother recycling? Because everything gets dumped together. So I called right, I think it's right, whatever, the company that does our recycling, and I said, what is this about contamination? Because many people have heard that comment, why bother? It all gets dumped into the same place. And what they explained is that you can only recycle what is not contaminated, and by contamination, they mean that if you put an item that is not recyclable into a recycling container, that is contaminated. So you may have a full recycled container, but you put in a glass bottle, and when they come and pick up that container, they see a glass bottle which is not recyclable in that container. that whole container is contaminated and it gets dumped into the trash. So when people comment about it's a waste of time, it's essentially because the recycling is not divided adequately or placed where it should go, right? And so, you know, when I drove down Wilson Street on the way out of town on a Monday morning, which is when we recycle, I found it striking that less than 50% of the homes actually had their recycling containers out. This is 7:30 in the morning. Maybe some people hadn't put them out yet. This is just an observation, it's not a statistic, right? But I know that our town offers that service, and yet a lot of us are not benefiting from that. And so recycling is hard, it takes effort, it takes intentionality. For those of us who are struggling with day-to-day issues, it's one more thing we don't have the time for. However, I think that there's a long way that the town can go to try and facilitate some of this. And I'm just going to share 3 little simple things to consider. We are developing great collaboration between Town of Farmville and the schools and the library. And anywhere we look around this topic, education is so imperative. And so we all need to learn what's recyclable, what's not. Where can we recycle, where can't we? And if this becomes part of what happens in the school system from pre-K all the way to 12th grade, then I think that would go a long way.
10 seconds.
We can
Sorry.
also use the events in our town to model this. So any event we go to in our town, do we have recycling, don't we? Do we have a list of what goes in here and what doesn't go in here? There is access to funding through grants, and I can share that information. And I also just want to say, we don't put a Band-Aid with Neosporin on a dirty wound, right? And so if we just plant trees and we don't clean our environment, we're having the same effect. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Lauren and Riley, are you intending to speak now for the presentations? Okay. So we are now moving from our citizen presentations into our town manager, Justin Oakes' comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of comments, and good evening, Board. Just wanted to give an update on the fire station project. The town met today with the HUD environmental specialist on the site. Feedback we received was all positive. He will be preparing his findings for the CPD director to act on our waiver request within the next few days. Tomorrow I'll be submitting a finding of no significant impact, also known as a FONSI. We anticipate being cleared to start back construction in the next 30 to 45 days. As far as the Dogwood Festival, I just want to take a moment to thank the Dogwood Committee, volunteers, and the town staff for all of their efforts to make the 37th Dogwood Festival a success last weekend, and appreciate anybody who was out there for that. A couple of announcements from Parks and Rec. Farmville Parks and Rec will be hosting the Farmville 5K Walk, Ruck, and Run. This event will be on Saturday, May the 16th at 8 a.m. It will begin and finish on the town common. And also, there currently is a public input survey that's underway on the J.Y. Monk Park and Recreation Center site. If you were out at the Thursday night of the Dogwood Festival, you may have seen the public input tent that was there. If you did not have a chance to provide your input at that time, the survey is still available online at the Parks and Rec website as well as their Facebook page. Be sure to, if you get a chance, to take a moment to participate as the survey seeks to find what citizens would like to see at the site. And that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And again, go ahead.
Do we get a chance to comment?
Absolutely.
Justin, I would like for you, if you don't mind, to maybe release a condensed statement on the status of the fire department, like we did last time. Apparently, some people got mixed up and some different things got out there. I would like to have a storyline so we can make sure we're passing out the truth, so to speak.
A press release is what you're asking for?
I don't think it needs to be a press release, but just a statement. You know, I have a lot of people that come up to me and ask me questions about what's going on with the fire department. And if I have it right there on my phone or right there in my hand, I feel a lot more comfortable that I have not omitted or added anything to my statement so that they get exactly what's what.
Sure.
Thank you.
Commissioners, you have the financial report in your packet here. Any questions from that? Okay. Moving on to changes, additions, deletions to the agenda as you see it. Town Manager Oakes, do you need to speak on the addition of a couple of the groups?
Yes, so as we mentioned, if you're here tonight for one of the outside groups or seek a presentation, you will be added to the agenda, and we will go in the order that is currently listed on the agenda. And then after, looks like the last presentation we have on the agenda here is from An Autastic Dream. After their presentation, we can go through in any particular order. I do not have each of the other groups in front of me at the moment, but yes, we can go through. If you are here with one of those other groups, we will have you come in and fill in after that. We'll do all the outside groups at one time.
Excellent, thank you. Do we have a motion to change, to accept the changes to the agenda as outlined by Town Manager Oakes?
I'll make such a motion.
Commissioner Smith has made a motion to accept the changes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda has been accepted as edited. Thank you so much. So now we're going to get into special presentations. We've got a couple here for tonight. I'm going to start with the proclamation for the Fire Sprinkler Week, which is May 10th through the 16th. So we are here in Farmville declaring this to be Home Fire Sprinkler Week, whereas the effects of home fires are far-reaching and long-standing. A house fire can become deadly in as little as 2 minutes because common synthetic furnishings that can burn fast produce toxic smoke because of lightweight construction materials and open designs used in today's construction, and because of emerging technologies such as lithium-ion batteries. And whereas home should be a place where our residents feel safe. In reality, home is where they have the greatest risk of injury or death from fire. And whereas home fires put our firefighters at risk through exposure that can lead to health issues, and whereas combined with working smoking alarms and proper fire escape plans, fire sprinklers in all new homes can reverse the effects of home fires. And whereas by taking part in Home Fire Sprinkler Week, let us recognize that protecting new homes with fire sprinklers will make the future safer for residents, first responders, and entire communities for generations to come. Now, therefore, I, Alex Joyner, Mayor of Farmville, North Carolina, do proclaim May 10th through May 16th, 2026 as Home Fire Sprinkler Week in Farmville, and encourage all residents to educate themselves about the dangers of home fires and the unparalleled benefits of home sprinklers, and to begin to embrace this technology in all of our town's new homes. This day, the 4th of May, 2026. Thank you. We are also recognizing Public Service Recognition Week, which is May 3rd through the 9th, this week here. And I want to thank all of our public servants that are out there for the work that you do. This is incredibly important to our government, to our communities. So this thank you is to all of you. Whereas public servants support the people of the town of Farmville every day, doing the work that keeps the town moving forward, and whereas public employees uphold an oath to serving others and providing critical services, and whereas many public servants, including teachers, law enforcement officials, healthcare professionals, and others, put the well-being of our people before their own to create a better future for our community, and whereas career civil servants carry out the most fundamental purpose of government to ensure public safety and represent the public interest in addressing social, economic, and political challenges. And whereas without these public employees at every level, continuity would be impossible. Now, therefore, I, Alex Joyner, Mayor of Farmville, North Carolina, do proclaim May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as Public Service Recognition Week in Farmville, this day, the 4th of May, 2026. And I'm going to ask my friend here, Commissioner Fields, to step with me up front here for just a moment as we recognize Bike Month. If you did not know, Commissioner Fields is an avid biker, and we've got some incredible things coming down the line here as we plan for the month, and our very first Bike to School event. National Bike Month. Whereas established in 1956 and promoted by the League of American Bicyclists, May is recognized as National Bike Month, promoting and celebrating bicycling in communities from coast to coast, and showcasing the many benefits of bicycling, and encouraging more people getting biking to a try. And whereas, because of local advocates, Farmville has been honored to host a rest stop for Cycle North Carolina's annual Mountains to the Coast ride twice, and route the course through the town, an additional time bringing awareness of the town to thousands of tourists, many of whom have returned for visits because of this exposure. And whereas, Farmville's library will be hosting a bicycling skills riding rodeo to teach residents in town how to ride on May 16th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And whereas Farmville's Parks and Recreation Department will be hosting a Bike to School skills event, encouraging more students, educators, and family members in our town to ride their bicycles to school in a safer manner. And whereas Farmville has the honor of being home to the League of American Bicyclists' first National Citizen Advocate for the year 2024, Stephen Hardy Braz. And whereas Farmville continues to value the continuing commitment to safe and accessible choices for all residents and visitors and how they move about our town walking, rolling, biking, or driving. And whereas the Farmville Library is the only library in greater Pitt County area to have a freestanding bicycle repair stand on the protected exterior of the library for anyone to use tools and equipment to work on their bicycles free of charge. And now, therefore, I, Alex Joyner, Mayor of Farmville, North Carolina, do proclaim the month of May as National Bike Month in Farmville, this, the 4th of May, 2026. Thank you so much. Who knew May was so exciting? We got two more here. Mental Health Awareness Month. This is absolutely critical, especially here in the town of Farmville. So whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and whereas promotion and prevention are effective ways to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and whereas there is a strong body of research that supports user-friendly tools that all Americans can access to better handle challenges and protect their health and well-being, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas each business, school, government agency, faith-based organization, healthcare provider, veterans group, and citizen has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. And now, therefore, I, Alex Joyner, do proclaim May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Farmville, North Carolina. I call upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Farmville to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. This, the 4th day of May, 2026. I'm going to stand when I read this one. Military Appreciation Month. Whereas for generations, the freedom and security enjoyed by the citizens of the United States are direct results of the continued vigilance and service of the United States Armed Forces over the history of our great nation. And whereas the sacrifices of those who served, those currently serving, and the family members that support them have preserved the liberties that have enriched our great nation, making it unique in the world community. And whereas in 2004, the United States Congress passed a resolution proclaiming May as National Military Appreciation Month, encouraging all citizens to honor current and former members of the U.S. Armed Forces and their families, including those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas the month of May was selected for this display of patriotism, because during this month we celebrate Victory of Europe, VE Day, Military Spouse Day, Loyalty Day, Armed Forces Day, National Day of Prayer, and Memorial Day. And whereas during Military Appreciation Month, we are reminded of the important role the United States Armed Forces have played in the history and development of our country and state, and our responsibility as Americans to support and honor the selfless service of our military families. And now, therefore, I, Alex Joyner, Mayor of Farmville, North Carolina, do proclaim the month of May 2026 as Military Appreciation Month in the town of Farmville, recognizing our service members and veterans and remembering the deep gratitude the men and women who have given their lives in the defense of our freedoms. This, the 4th day of May 2026. We're going to move on to items of consent here. Commissioners, you have the minutes from our March 18th regular and closed session, as well as our April 6th regular and closed session. Do I have a motion to accept these minutes as outlined in your packet?
I'll make a motion to accept the items for consent as presented.
Commissioner Smith has made a motion to accept items for consent. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Now we're going to get to our community organization funding request for the, it says 2025-2026 budget, but I think we're 2026-2027. Okay. And we're going to start with the Farmville Community Garden. You have the stage. Anyone from the Farmville Community Garden here that would like to speak?
They're pointing at each other. You speak. No, you speak. I did it the last time.
Is someone who was speaking for your group not here? We're going to put you, can we relocate them?
Oh, no, she's on her way.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Take your time.
Thank you so much.
To state, my name is Eulalia Williams. Do I state where I live as well?
Sure, please.
3954 South Main Street,
And if you will pull the microphone just a bit closer to you, thank you so much.
Farmville, North Carolina. Oh, I pulled it.
Now you own the mic.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I want to thank you all for your support for Farmville Community Garden. I am representing the Board of Directors. This is Nicole. She's a new board member.
Okay, I'm in training.
So this year, we're asking for funding to help with our annual operations and also to help to build one of our newly expanded areas so that it's sustainable, and that would be the melon patch. So in the melon patch, we have a lot of wisteria growing, and it's large, so we need to work with irrigation and structures to support that, because the things that grow there are going to be heavy, and there will be a lot, and they'll be available mostly to the community, because it is a shared space. Also, we need in our operations budget, we need to upgrade our tools. And what else did we say? Yeah. We were honored to be part of Small Axe Peppers fundraising for the past few years, but this year they're not doing the fundraising for anyone. So we basically just need to fill in what we need to make what we have sustainable and improve its availability to the community at large. That's what we're asking for. Any questions?
Commissioners? Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right. Did you want to say something?
Oh. She's still in training. Oh. Thank you so much for the work that you do here in the town of Farmville. We really appreciate it. And if you do not know, the community garden is on Cotton Street. There we go. So if you have not seen it, please head right on down Main Street, take a right onto Cotton Street, and it'll be on your right-hand side there. Beautiful place. Farmville Rescue and EMS. Anyone from Farmville Rescue and EMS that would like to speak? Farmville Senior Council.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Garner, and I'm the Vice President of the Farmville Senior Council. We are here this afternoon to advocate for seniors in the Farmville area. We have been advocating for seniors since 1979 in Farmville, trying to meet the needs of those without transportation. One of the things that we're looking for this year is to increase our income coming in. We do have yearly dues for members, but we need new transportation. Our van is probably 20-something years old, and we need transportation at least to house 15 to 20 people, because we want to do more for seniors, but now with seniors getting older, the van is a smaller van. It's not handicap accessibility. Everybody has a walker, everybody has a cane, a wheelchair, or some type of equipment to move around. We also provide food. We cook at the Farmville Soup Kitchen here, and our budget, when I started in 2019 cooking there, we could take $250 and feed people, but now it has doubled that almost. It takes us about $450 to $500 every time we cook there, because the numbers are great. We are serving anywhere from 96 in December. I think we served again, it was 82. Last week, I think we did about 82. The summer has not come here, has not come yet. Our students are gonna be out of school. A lot of times the parents that are coming now, they will bring their children. So we anticipate about 120 during the summer months when we cook. So that is a need that we really, that is money that we really need to fulfill the needs of the Farmville community as well as our seniors. We do mentoring programs this past year, and the year before we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club for kids that have aged out of the toy program. We provided gift cards for the children that are, I would say, 12 and over, because most kids now, they got the electronic devices, so they've been aged out of the toy stages. We have to keep up our transportation that we do have now. We do have a working van, and we have insurance on that, then yearly maintenance, tags and fees. Those are things that we need, so we're asking that our budget do be increased this year. We started pricing vans, I think it was pre-pandemic, and I think the van that we were looking for at the time was about $35,000 is what they told us, and I think that was at Doug Henry, if I make no mistake. But that van probably now is probably costing us about cost us about $52,000. So we are asking for a budget this year of $8,000. And without this budget, it will do great damage because we won't be able to continue to fulfill our needs as feeding the seniors here. We do have a networking program where we have purchased laptops for seniors to use that are shut in. You can check it out we have it set out where they can check it out. It's like going to the library, checking out a book. They cannot put any personal information on it. They can use it for communicating, reaching out to other people and stuff like that. So we're hoping this year that we will be able to continue to fill our budget and be able to continue to advocate for seniors 60 and over in Farmville, North Carolina. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to come here and speak with us today. North Carolina, stop human trafficking.
Good evening. My name is Pam Strickland, and I live at 4128 Dale Drive here in Farmville. So I'm going to throw a couple of numbers at you. The town of Pittsboro has a population of 5,000. The community of Rocky Point has a population of less than 1,000. And the community of Enfield, North Carolina, has less than 2,000. So why am I mentioning these communities to you? All three of these places have had cases of human trafficking and or child exploitation just within the last few weeks. And I wanted to share that because one of the things that I hear from people is that something like human trafficking couldn't happen somewhere like Farmville. And, you know, as someone who grew up here in Farmville, who was lucky enough to, and all of us here, lucky enough to live in our sweet, family-oriented town, we think we're in a bubble, but we're not. In cases where children are sexually exploited, they're almost always groomed and recruited online. So the predators can be anywhere, and the victims can be anywhere. You may remember two cases that were very highly publicized last year, both of them involving Amber Alerts. In each case, and they were separate cases, two 15-year-old girls believed they were in relationships that had started online. They gave predators their addresses and willingly went with them when the predator came to their house to pick them up. Now, it was publicized as kidnapping because they were minors, but the girls went willingly because they believed it was someone they knew because they had been talking with them online for some time. One girl lived in Siler City, population 10,000, and the other lived in Spring Lake, North Carolina, population 11,000. So I think that Farmville's children and their parents need to be educated about both online and in-person predation, and we can help. Farmville would benefit from more targeted training for professionals here as well. We would like to help train the following professional groups in Farmville: our law enforcement, our fire and emergency personnel, the staff at all four schools, healthcare professionals, the business community, and any youth-serving organizations like Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and others that I may not be aware of. We'd also be glad to educate any civic groups or churches that would like to learn about human trafficking. We'd like to provide posters with the National Human Trafficking Hotline to be placed in schools, businesses, and government buildings. And I did notice those as we were coming in, and I invited everyone else to notice that as you're leaving. It was right by the door. We're asking for $5,000 to begin this partnership. This will allow the North Carolina Stop Human Trafficking staff time to make human trafficking a priority here in Farmville. Our mission is creating communities actively working to abolish human trafficking. And we want Farmville to be one of those communities. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for the work that you do here to support not only Farmville, but across our entire state. And human trafficking does not know a population, it does not know a demographic, it does not matter. So we're so grateful for the work you do. Pitt County Council on Aging. Anyone from Pitt County Council on Aging who would like to speak? Okay. HB Sugg and Sam Bundy Elementary.
Good evening. I'm Miss Covington. I'm the principal at Sugg Bundy Elementary School. Nice to meet everybody. I see a few faces that I know, so thank you for having us here today. Miss Adams is one of our amazing 5th grade teachers. And what we are asking you to consider is a proposal that has been funded previously that we really use tremendously. We have a program called AVID at Sugg Bundy. We started it there. It's called the Advancement of Via Individual Determination. And it starts in elementary school with basic skills, organization, preparing kids to be college and career ready. And then it moves on to the middle school and the high school. So we use the funding to help build organizational notebooks for our students, because as we know, having that skill at a young age prepares us for the workforce, college, military, whatever they decide to do. I brought Miss Adams because she's going to kind of give you what it really looks like in the classroom. And in front of you, you have just what AVID is truly about and just a little presentation. This year, with the funding that was provided last year, we also got to do something that I thought was super cool. A group of our 5th grade students got to go to UNC Chapel Hill through a grant, but to get them there, we had to pay for the buses. And we were able to use some of the AVID funding that you all graciously provided last year to get our students to Chapel Hill. And they had an amazing time. So that was one of the opportunities that we were able to utilize the funding for as well. So let Ms. Adams.
So we kind of do 2 big things. We do the notebooks and then the binder. So the notebook, we color coordinate it. So I teach math and science. So blue is math, green is science. Don't come for me, that's what they tell it. So some people disagree on that one. But anyway, the way we do it is we do a table of contents. And the goal is for them to write the date, the topic, and what page number. So that way, later on in the future, if they know they need to study dividing decimals, they go to page 23. And then we teach them based off of whether it's the teacher giving a presentation or the teacher having you kind of work through things and try it out. The goal is that they'll be able to, by the end of the year, understand how do I take notes. And then how do I take those notes and study. So I call it in my classroom input, output. This is me teaching to the students are writing things down, that kind of thing. The binder is the output. So it's labeled, planner, we typically have them write as well. Anyway, we have them write down what we're learning, all that stuff. So this is me, this is my output. So they took everything that we did in the notebook, and this is where they're going to jot it down so that when they go home, they can now take this and learn how to study. Because I'm sure at some point, all of us have studied for a test, and we didn't know how to study the first time we did it. So the goal is so they can be neat, organized, and have everything here, so when they take it home, parents can clearly see as well what we're doing.
Excellent.
Any questions for Phil?
Can you tell us how many avid students you have at your class?
So in the elementary level, everybody participates in parts of Avid. So all the way down from kindergarten, they're working on organization, even in their desks or in their center work. So they start kind of at the bare basics there. We do planners for every student is another way, but everybody's kind of has access to the Avid resources. And then when they get to middle school, they have the actual Avid class. Our fifth graders today interviewed for Avid classroom to go to middle school in sixth grade next year.
Excellent.
So it's more about practice in the elementary school.
Any other questions?
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate you do all the work you do in our public schools. Thank you. Trap, neuter, and return. Tammy Matus and Jamie Markham.
Hi there. My name is Jamie Markham. You need my address, 4393
Sure.
West Church Street. Okay. So myself and Tammy wanted to come and talk with you guys this evening about our request for funding for TNR, our TNR efforts that we are doing throughout the town of Farmville. TNR stands for Trap, Neuter, Return, just in case anybody's not aware of that. As you guys hopefully are aware though, we have received an average of $2,000 each year from the town of Farmville since the year 2022. This year, we are asking for an increase in the funding as the cost of everything has increased. This increase will actually help offset the amount of money that both myself and Tammy are paying out of pocket. And then also ultimately, so that way we can continue to serve the town and its residents with this much needed service. This year, we are asking for a total of $5,000 for the 26-27 fiscal year. I'm sure some of you are grimacing and internally shaking your heads and wondering why these two crazy cat ladies are asking for more than double the amount of money that you have provided in the past. So we're just going to ask if you can kind of bear with us, keep open minds, and hopefully we will prove to you why we are asking for that amount of money. Prior to getting into that, though, I do want to express just how thankful we are for the amount of money that we have received thus far and also the support. I truly love living in Farmville, and this is just one of the many reasons why. So to date, since 2022, we have received a total of $8,225. With that money, we have purchased some supplies, such as traps. We have paid for some vetting for sick or injured cats, but the majority of the funding has gone towards TNR efforts. With that money, we have been able to TNR a total of 376 cats. This includes getting them spayed or neutered, getting an ear tip, which is the universal sign that they have been fixed, a rabies vaccine, and then also an FVRCP vaccine, which is a 3-combo vaccination. To give you some costs for comparison purposes, the cheapest local vet charges $155 for a spay, rabies, and FVRCP. And then they charge $120 for neuter, rabies, and FVRCP. If you do some quick math for the $8,225 that we have received thus far and the 376 cats that we have fixed, this has resulted in us spending just under $22 per cat versus $120 to $155 if we were to go to that cheapest vet. In today's economy, that's nothing short of a miracle. With us paying anywhere from $98 to $133 less per cat, you can very easily see that we are saving the town of Farmville a substantial amount of money. Now let's talk about the people and the areas that we have helped since 2022. We have helped a total of 73 distinct people and businesses throughout the town. We have helped in all areas stretching across the town of Farmville. This has included West Church Street, Martha's Loop, Green Pine Road, West Vines Street, East Horn Avenue, Hunter's Ridge, etc. We have helped businesses such as Lenoka Coffee, the Frisbee Golf Field, McDonald's, Burger King, and many more. So I've talked about the facts and figures. I'm going to let Tammy take it from here so she can talk about the positive impact that TNR has had for the cats, our town, and for the residents of Farmville. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to speak with you tonight. So I'm the nervous one because I shoot kind of straight from the heart. That's me. So why does this cat thing even matter? And who cares? They're just a bunch of cats. Don't feed them. They'll go away. And then it happens. You've got kittens and cats at your house. Then it's your problem. And your place of business. So, why TNR? Trap, neuter, and return. Fixed and managed colonies will shrink over time. Cats' lives are improved. This eliminates mating behavior such as spraying. Y'all ever smelled it? You know what I'm talking about. Eliminates the spraying and the fighting. Most of all, prevents the births of thousands of kittens. It's a necessary tool for our local animal shelters that are overwhelmed, and TNR also reduces euthanization. Feeding feral community cats prevents starvation and suffering. Feeding also facilitates TNR, trap, neuter, return, making it easier to monitor and trap new cats for sterilization and vaccination. Regularly fed cats are less likely to hurt or kill local wildlife. Residents and business owners are aware of our presence and appreciate our work. We are never on personal or business properties to trap or feed without their approval. What a win for the town of Farmville. Not just taking care of the cats, but also the people, because there are elderly people here in this town, and the cats, it overlaps. Residents and business owners are noticing the decrease in the number of kittens. TNR offers healthier communities, fewer complaints. If we don't fix the cats, we fund the problem forever. If we do, we solve it over time. Jamie and I are spending money out of our pockets. To our knowledge, the town of Farmville is the only municipality in Pitt County that supports a TNR program. And that's a plus for anyone looking to knowing that we take care of our community.
So I do just want to ask if anybody has any questions. We could probably talk about this for an hour. I don't know if y'all want to hear about cats for an hour, but we can do it. Just because it is such a substantial increase in funding, want to open the floor to see if there's any questions that anybody has.
What donations can you get from people? Now, basically, you need donations. I know you need funding, but donation-wise.
Donation-wise, I would say dry food, wet food, old sheets, pea pads. I think those are the primary. Great question, thank you.
Thank you both for the work that you do here within Farmville. I don't think that there is a street in Farmville that you have not touched in some sort of way. And if you don't know that, if you've not seen them, they do it in the dark of night. So it is incredible to see the work you do. And if we don't know that there's an issue, it's because of you. Thank you so much. An Altastic dream.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, ma'am. Good evening again. My name is Ashanti Williams, and I am the founder and CEO of An Altastic Dream located right here in Farmville at 3726 North Main Street. Tonight, we are requested $8,500 to support our inclusive sensory and community engagement programs. These funds will go directly into sensory equipment, educational materials, program supplies, and community engagement activities. This is a direct investment into the families we serve right here in Farmville and the surrounding areas. The need for this work is both significant and growing. In North Carolina, 1 in 31 children are diagnosed with autism, and many more live with developmental or learning differences. When we look locally, we see this reflected in our own town. For example, at the elementary school, approximately 1 in every 8 to 10 students receive some level of exceptional children's support within multiple EC classrooms, serving dozens of students daily. When we consider similar needs across our middle school and high school, we are realistically looking at well over 100 to 150 students within our local school system who require additional support. This data helps us understand the scale, but the reality is support does not stop when school day ends. For many children with autism and other unique abilities, mental health support is just as important as academic support. Without safe, structured environments, these children often experience increased anxiety, isolation, and difficulty connecting with others. Families are still searching for places where their child can be themselves, continue to learn and build social skills, and the most important thing, feel accepted. When they're with us, they are seen, heard, and not left out. We provide after-school tutoring and academic support. We offer an autistic summer camp that gives families structure, safe, and engaging care during the critical months of the summer. We create opportunities through sensory play, art days, movie nights, and inclusive community events such as the Autistic Extravaganza and our basketball program. We also support families through our back-to-school drives, food drives, and ongoing family emotional support. Our center fills the gaps between schools, home, and the community. We have seen children gain independence and confidence by becoming potty trained. We have seen children who once struggled to wear sensory headphones in large crowds go through the school day wearing headphones. We have seen children who have once isolated themselves begin to connect with others. And the most recent meaningful moment that we've seen is a grandfather sharing a moment with his granddaughter at our dance, who was never once allowed to touch her, was able to dance with her. This was able to create a memory for the family to carry on forever. With your support, we can continue to expand access, reach more families, and strengthen our academic outcomes and mental health, confidence, and connection for the families. We are recently working with law enforcement to start the PEACE program that will allow families to be able to receive access and emergency response immediately if a child with autism goes missing. We are trying to start with Farmville, and we are moving on to the state level. That is our next initiative. And with your support, we can make all of these things happen. Thank you. Any questions? The granddaughter, yes, I did. At the Dogwood Festival? Yes, ma'am, I did. Any questions?
Any questions? We're so privileged.
Good job.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. And you guys can read the handouts. I can talk about it forever and ever, but.
We are honored and privileged to have your organization here in the town of Farmville, and this brings people from all over Pitt County. We've seen it show up. They come because what you are doing makes a difference.
Yes.
We really appreciate everything that you're doing. Thank
Yes.
you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Wegfest. Anyone from Wegfest that would like to speak up today? Healthy Girls Project.
Just one, okay, I got you.
Do you want us to have this open for?
Go back in.
I just wanted everyone to see the work that we've been doing. You can pass them down or hold them, whichever makes you.
We'll hold them so everyone can see what you're talking about.
All right. Well, good evening, Mayor Joyner and Commissioners. Hope everyone can hear me. Hope you are well. Let me adjust this. All right. My name is Dwan Newton. I was born and raised in Farmville, moved away for college and work. Life found me back here 5 years ago after a personal medical crisis. Thankful for the love and support of my mom, close family, and friends. I am a family nurse practitioner with 25 years of healthcare experience. As founder and CEO of Healthy Girls Project, I humbly stand before you requesting funding from the town of Farmville in the amount of $100,000, don't get nervous, or any amount available in the budget to help support our necessary project, expand our reach, and make a greater impact in the community by providing additional critical healthcare preventative services, healthcare education, and access to healthcare screenings that could save a woman's life. Welcome to our presentation, and hopefully this works. Maybe I need to get closer.
Power on the side of that.
Oh, there we go. All right. So, Healthy Girls Project, contact and social media information also provided for you in the handout. All right, Healthy Girls Project, 501c3, nonprofit organization founded to help decrease breast cancer and chronic disease in minority and underserved women. Quick facts. Black women are more likely to die from breast cancer compared to other races. 60% or more of underserved women in North Carolina live with chronic conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. These women tend to delay care due to the lack of health insurance, being underinsured, access, and limited healthcare knowledge. 11 to 12% of uninsured women live in North Carolina. 55 to 57% of North Carolina women are enrolled in Medicaid. 5% of residents in Farmville are uninsured. 28% of residents in Farmville are enrolled in Medicaid. So, how can we help?
Hello, family and friends. Happy New Year. My name is Duane, founder of Healthy Girls Project. January 12th marked our 1 year
I'm not sure if you can hear this.
Say go. Healthy Girls Project, 501c3, nonprofit organization founded to help decrease breast. Hello, family and friends. Happy New Year. My name is Dawn, founder of Healthy Girls Project. January 12th marked our 1 year anniversary. Felicito Seyones. Healthy Girls Project, 501c3, nonprofit organization founded to help decrease breast cancer rates in minority and underserved women in North Carolina. We've expanded our mission to provide essential healthcare services to help decrease the risk of chronic disease, to include blood pressure checks, blood sugar checks, BMI screenings with height and weight, diet and fitness counseling. You can help keep our mission moving forward in the community by donating today. Your donation of any amount will help save a woman's life. For more information and ways to donate, visit our website. Like, share, and follow us on social media. Thanks for your support. Have a healthy day. So our fundraising goal of $25,000 in 2025, so far we've raised $8,249. Our deficit is $16,851. We have been successful at donations, fundraisers, and gifts, unsuccessful at grants, mission, and community funding, but not for lack of trying. I love this picture. So this is a picture of our community health event in 2025 at the Farmville Community Center. Every time I look at this picture, it makes me think of Zechariah 4:10. Here you'll see myself pictured along with some of our board members, volunteers, and supporters. Very proud moment for our organization. Our Christmas bra donation and giveaway in 2025, we partnered with the Family Dollar here in Farmville where we collected the bras. Each bra was inspected, washed, and packaged with an encouragement card and breast health information. The bras were dispersed to women in the community, church, and the Greenville Community Shelter. Another proud moment for our organization. Community impact. Everybody likes to see the numbers. So far, 2 mammograms, healthcare education, 27, healthy lunch vouchers, 2, transportation, 0, community health event, 1, as you just saw, 16 recipients served, Christmas bra giveaway, 30 recipients, and our 90-day weight loss challenge, 3. Board members listed and pictured. Also, this information is provided for you in the handout. Our references. And Mayor Joyner and commissioners, let me encourage you to bloom where you're planted. Thank you for your time, this opportunity, your consideration. Any questions?
Great job.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You can keep the packet. The packet is yours, but the board's at the back.
Okay. We're very grateful that you have chosen Farmville as your starting point to support our female community here. Thank you for everything that you've done, and we hope to support you as you continue in 2026. Next on the list. Apologies, I'm having to pull from a different list here. Next is Farmville Community Arts Council.
Mr. Mayor, distinguished commissioners, thanks for having me tonight. My name is Pete Marksteiner. It's my privilege to present a brief statement on behalf of the Farmville Community Arts Council's requests for funding this year. About 3 years ago, after 30 years as an attorney and Air Force officer, and another 8 as the clerk of the Federal Appeals Court, my wife Tina and I decided to retire here. And I can tell you we both feel so very blessed to have found this absolute jewel. Although we never served an overseas tour, we moved 11 times and have lived all over the United States. And at every address and in every state, every town, we've been avid theater patrons. From holding season tickets at the Kennedy Center and the National Theater in D.C., to the way off Broadway Community Theater in an old converted one-room church in Prattville, Alabama, to the historic Atlas Theater in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where we enjoyed dinner theater over Sam's Club chicken cordon bleu and ginger ale and plastic champagne flutes, to many, many more. I feel we've seen much of what the nation has to offer in the way of performing arts venues. If you grew up in Farmville, or if you've become accustomed to life here, I'd humbly suggest it would be easy to take for granted the incredible rarity of this town in general, and the Paramount Theater more specifically. In all our travels, my wife and I have been those people, and we've known countless more, who've driven hours from places we've lived, like Tampa, Orlando, Denver, St. Louis, DC, and many other urban centers, to experience just a tiny taste of a less hectic life in a small town. In our case, with maybe a half a dozen historic buildings and maybe one visitor drawing, restaurant, landmark, museum, or art gallery. While there, we dine at local eateries, enjoy refreshments at the watering holes, shop at the stores, and when we were lucky, make a few new friends along the way. What I hope to communicate in a way that resonates clearly with all of you is simply this. In all our travels, over 4 decades, we've never, ever been in a town that had such an amazing concentration of attractive features as you have right outside this building. You don't just have a few historic landmark properties, you have an entire district. Your main street is lined with American flags. There are multiple food, dessert, and beverage options, boutiques, antique shops, and much more, all within an easy stroll from one another. And on top of all of that, the parking's not only plentiful, it's free. That might not sound like a big deal if you're from here, but I assure you, this is the stuff of legend in most of the places my family and I have lived. And in the middle of all of it stands the Paramount Theater. The historic marquee, the Art Deco facade. The place truly is iconic, and my wife and I noticed it the first time we rolled into town. This type of atmosphere would be unusual in a town with 0 challenges or shortcomings. In a community where the average household income hovers between 65% and 70% of the state average, it's almost incomprehensible. Yet here it is, alive and well and thriving. But the Paramount's so much more than a brick and mortar potential economic engine for this community. It's a cultural melting pot for a local population that's roughly 30% more racially diverse than the rest of the state on average. And where in that place, that diversity is reflected in the productions performed there, both by the Arts Council, many of whom you see represented here tonight, as well as other entertainers and presenters that regularly use the facility. If you've never been to a kids show, I highly recommend it. The current council president, oh, yep. I didn't know there was a line behind me. The current council president, Lauren Schreckengost, has for years been writing those plays. Every little aspiring actor that wants a part gets one. And in the process of building confidence and finding their own unique voices along the way, dozens of Farmville's youngest also learn a lot about the value of working in teams composed of flowers of 1,000 different cultural shades. I know it sounds corny, but I promise you it really is sort of magical. I know what the council is requesting is a big ask. But the other point I want to make sure I clearly state is that the council's not asking for money to beautify or spruce up the theater. They're asking for support for the building. As reflected in the council's written submission, the building is in need of work totaling in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for highly desirable upgrades. But there's a crew of volunteers whose dedication is truly humbling, ready to meet that challenge through various grant writing and other fundraising efforts. The immediate need, however, focused on weather and moisture intrusion and literally a crumbling wall on one side of the stage. If you haven't been there, you can go and check it out, is much more acute and critical to the building's preservation. One of my responsibilities at the court in DC was ensuring the upkeep of the historic Dolly Madison House on the north side of the White House, just off of Lafayette Square. So at the risk of sounding a little bit immodest, I know a little bit about maintaining historic properties. What I can tell you unconditionally is that the most predictable truism about maintaining historic properties is that a short-term cost avoided today is an almost guarantee of a longer-term, bigger cost somewhere down the road. I once had a dental hygienist tell me during an exam, after I must have huffed or rolled my eyes at what I used to call the condescending floss lecture, is he looked at me and said, "Hey, just floss the ones you want to keep." In this context, you only have to preserve this incredibly iconic edifice if you want to continue to enjoy what it does for the community economically and culturally. As my time's almost out, I'll conclude with this. The Paramount is important, perhaps more important than initially meets the eye in ways both financial and considerably more consequential to Farmville's longer-term vitality. If there's simply not enough in the coffers to grant the council's entire request, Please consider whatever substantial infusion of life support that can be scraped together at this juncture, because the need is real and the cause is most assuredly worthy. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ooh, I'm a bit taller than Pete. Sorry, you guys. Oh, don't worry. I'm absolutely going to rub this in. I suppose it's only fitting, since he mentioned Farmville's youth in the theater, that a youth comes to speak to you today. Good evening, Commissioners. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the time and opportunity to speak. My name is Riley Weaver, and I live at 3359 North Contentia Street, right over on the grid in town. I've lived there for 10 years since I was 6 years old. And today, I wanted to tell you why that makes me the luckiest girl in the world. It's because just one short block away across the Piggly Wiggly parking lot is the back of the theater. I couldn't tell you how many shows I've been in or helped with. I've spent countless hours in the back painting, moving furniture, giggling, and goofing off. I've coordinated guides for ghost walks, transitioned from kids' plays to adult roles, been assistant stage manager, set ninja, and wing cheerleader. I'm pretty much the definition of a theater kid. Mr. Don calls me furniture at this point because every time he opens the door, I'm just there, like the coffee table. In all the time I've spent here, I've seen all types of people come through. Paid musicians, volunteer thespians, people who didn't know they had talent. I watched them discover it right before my eyes. It showed me my hidden blessings and made it so that it was never necessary to break out of my shell. The shell never developed. Each time I take the stage, I feel as though I become all things at once, and there are no limits to what I can be or do, that I only need to breathe it into reality for it to be true. When you step into the light, your ego vanishes and you can attune your empathy. The theater is the only place I've been where preconceived notions, prejudice, and personal vainglory vanish. The community and the art are all that matters. And so it would see that if e pluribus unum is to be respected, if indeed we are called to reconcile our differences in pursuit of a greater prosperity for our posterity, we do need to ordain and establish civic organizations that historically have proven to be the most effective at doing so. Right here in this town, that organization is the Arts Council. And it's woven into the fabric of the community, and it serves a vital purpose as a place where all ideologies, classes, and creeds of people can be and be recognized for who they are and not just what value they add. That is why I'm the luckiest girl in the world, because I'm a theater kid.
Yes, right.
Good evening, and I'm going to be quick, I promise. Pete mentioned that I've had the honor of directing our children's play for the past, this will be my 4th year in this lifetime, and I lived in Farmville 20 years ago before marriage and got to do 2 children's projects and programs at that point in time. I just wanted to express to you all and to share with you, if you don't know, how important the children's theater is in Farmville. You all, I'm sure, have seen the big productions, the names up on the marquee that you recognize from different places. I don't know if you pay attention to the ones that go up in the summer, and sometimes you're like, I have no clue what that's about. That's because I wrote it, and who knows what it's really going to be about, let's be honest. But it is such a rewarding feeling to have kids come out that haven't found their place yet, that want to be part of something, but don't have a sports team, don't have a club to belong to. They're just trying to figure out who they are and what their voice is. We have kids that come out to our theater program as young as 3 years old. And I'm going to tell you right now, if a 3-year-old shows up for my play, they're going to have a place and they're going to be on the stage. And that's just how I do it, because I see how important it is to encourage people to be part of a team, to understand what it means to be part of a group. Everybody in theater is important, whether you're standing on stage in the light or whether you're behind stage making sure everything is running the way that it is supposed to be. So while our theater and our arts program reach demographics all across our town and our county and the surrounding areas, age is something else that we really focus on with our productions. So I'm asking you all please to consider not only where the Arts Council can go, but where we've come from. So the funding that we're asking for is going to help us not only preserve our history, but to ensure that we have a future. Thank you all very much for your time. We sincerely appreciate it.
I'm not sure that there's that many people in Farmville who have not participated in something from the Arts Council here. And if you have not been to the Paramount Theater, you are missing out. Please come in, see their programming. Thank you so much for coming today. We appreciate it. Rebuilding together.
Good evening, Farmville. Good evening. A long time sitting here, huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know how I'm going to follow an Arts Council presentation. My first date was at the Paramount Theater with my husband sitting in the back over there. It was footloose. Mayor Joyner, Board of Commissioners, Manager Oakes, Attorney Edwards, thank you for your time this evening and for the opportunity to be here. I'd also like to acknowledge some members of the Rebuilding Together Pitt County Board of Directors, our advisory council and founders from nearly 20 years ago, and a few of our volunteers who are here tonight. I appreciate your continued support. My name is Michelle Lovey-Stozier, and I have the honor of serving as the Executive Director of Rebuilding Together Pitt County. We are located in Greenville, right downtown, and we are a local affiliate of Rebuilding Together National, a leading national nonprofit with over 100 affiliates across the country, dedicated to safe and healthy housing. We are only one of two in the state of North Carolina, our sister being out in Charlotte. Our commitment is to deliver local impact backed by a proven national model. Now, what we do is straightforward. We provide critical home repairs and accessibility modifications at no cost to qualifying homeowners. Again, no cost to qualifying homeowners. Those could be grab bars, so Mima or Nana, Granny, Grandmother, whatever you may call her, can get in and out of the shower safely. A ramp so your local veterans can access their own homes. Or a roof repair so a family isn't losing everything they own during the next hurricane. A safe home is not a luxury, it is the foundation for everything else. And I'd like to remind everybody what I mean by that. In February, I introduced Rebuilding Together Pitt County to the town of Farmville. I shared a story of a homeowner who applied for a deck repair, a modest deck repair. When we got to her home, we found raw sewage, and that woman had not had clean water in quite some time. She couldn't even shower in her own home. We replaced her entire plumbing system, we repaired the deck. And when we finished, her son called us to tell us his mama took 3 showers in one day. Not because she had to, but because she could. Because she finally had the dignity of being able to bathe in her own home. And that's just one story that we can tell. And the people sitting on this front bench have many more from their history of volunteering with this organization. We've been busy since I last spoke to this Board of Commissioners. We currently have 78 open service applications, and that number grows weekly. We have developed strong municipal and agency relationships, secured new grant funding, built internal systems that did not exist before, and continue to develop processes to get more families served faster. One municipal partnership that we have is with the town of Winterville. So we know the model that I'm proposing to y'all tonight works. And I want to share why a model like that matters, not just for homeowners, but for the town as well. You are already investing in Farmville's future. So many agencies and organizations have presented here tonight. That's asking for your investments. You also invest in emergency services, in sidewalk renovations, public works, the library, Arts Council, garden, recreation, and economic development. Those are infrastructure investments. Homes are infrastructure too. When homes deteriorate, the community feels it. Farmville sees it in increased emergency calls, in declining property values, and in neighborhoods struggling to attract new investments. Preventative repair is not charity, it's stabilization. It is fixing a $2,000 problem before it becomes a $15,000 crisis, or a code violation, or a vacant property, or flossing the tooth that you want to keep. When you invest in stabilization, there is something that comes back to Farmville. And I'd like to show you how with two numbers. First, at Farmville's ad valorem rate, or for those of us not up on our Latin lingo, that's the tax rate, the dollars per $100 on a home's value when you pay your taxes. That's how they come up with that number. So at that rate, every home re-repair sees even a modest increase in assessed value generates additional tax revenue for the town. That revenue at $1.15 per 100, if y'all didn't know that, that's what you're paying on your homes. That revenue is recurring year after year. Second, Habitat for Humanity of Pitt County recently dedicated 2 homes here in Farmville and currently owns 3 lots on Crestwood Drive. They want to build. Other developers want to build, but the surrounding neighborhood conditions make it harder and more difficult to attract applicants to new homes there. If we stabilize a neighborhood like Crestwood through critical repairs, we can not only improve the homes for the residents who live there, we can improve the conditions that make Habitat's investment and other developers' investments viable here. Every new Habitat home that gets built lands on the town's tax rolls at a level comparable to their Brandon Street builds. Those houses are assessed at approximately $196,000. At the tax rate, each of those homes has the potential to generate roughly $2,250 in annual revenue for this town. The full framework with detailed numbers and different investment levels is included in the packet that I just gave y'all, provided for your review. You'll also find a letter of support from the town of Winterville, as well as from Scott Johnson, the Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity. The model works, and Habitat supports us. Now, behind every number is a person. I could throw numbers at you. I'm a recovering attorney. I can go into the weeds, but no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to remind us of why we're here and who we're here for. 1 in 4 Farmville residents lives at or below the poverty level. In a community of approximately 4,500 people, that's over 1,000 individuals in this community who live at or below the poverty level. That's the person who bags your groceries at the Piggly Wiggly. That's the retired widow who's lived in that same family house that's been in her family for generations, and she's been there for over 40 years and is now on a fixed income. That's the neighbor that you see at church, whose porch rail is just a little loose and whose floorboards are soft, but who will never say a word about it. She'd rather give you a hug or give you some cookies. Y'all make good cookies in these churches around here. These are not people looking for a program. They are people quietly managing what they can for as long as they can. And right now, Farmville residents are actually underrepresented in our service pipeline. And not because the need isn't here, it's because y'all haven't been aware of it. A dedicated municipal partnership can change that, and that brings me to the ask. Our written application, which is also provided in that packet, requests $20,000 for a pilot project. Our current average home repair is $8,500. So, at $20,000, we could stabilize 2 or 3 qualifying homes within the town limits. It's enough to test the model, evaluate the results, and begin making measurable differences. In your packets also, I've highlighted Crestwood as one of the neighborhoods where a strategic impact would be especially significant because of the habitat connection and the potential tax revenue return. This program can also serve other qualifying homeowners across Farmville. It doesn't have to be Crestwood. The town would have the ability to prioritize where your dollars go. The structure of this program mirrors our active partnership with Winterville. Rebuilding together, we manage everything: intake, eligibility, assessments, scopes of work, licensed contractors, permitting, oversight, and full documentation. You simply write the checks and get a separate accounting, quarterly reporting, and the ability to prioritize your residents. Funding is capped, work is documented, and the program sunsets unless you choose to renew. This is not a capital project. It does not create debt or long-term obligations. It's a small, structured, accountable project. Now, I know y'all have a difficult decision ahead of you. There are a record number of requests this year, and many of those missions in this room tonight are ones that I personally support. Some of them are even our community partners. And in rural communities like ours, mission-driven organizations and programs, we all ask for access to the same pot of money, and the same 5 people tend to be on everybody's board. I don't take that for granted, and I don't take it lightly what we're all asking you to do. What I will say is this: the revenue that a program like ours generates through increased property value and new construction on the tax rolls creates additional funds that can be reinvested right back into this town and into these incredibly important missions. This is one of the few investments before you tonight that has the potential to grow the pot, not just draw from it. I'll close where I started. Our CEO, Maureen Carlson, said it well: the most affordable home is the one you already have and the one you can afford to keep. Your residents built this town. There is obvious pride here. Some of them are living in homes, though, that are quietly failing around them. They're not calling 911. They're not showing up at town hall. They're managing day in and day out the best they can until they can't. A safe home is not a luxury. It is the foundation for everything else. For the homeowner, it's dignity. For the neighborhood, it's stability. And for the town, it's preserved housing and the potential for increased revenue. I'm grateful for your time. I'm grateful for the work that you do in this community, and I'm here to answer any questions that y'all may have. Thank you.
Just to clarify, so I believe the board is aware that there are 3 lots on Crestwood that are owned by Habitat for Humanity, but they are unable to build on these. Is what you are proposing that you would support the cleanup of that area so that they would potentially be able to continue development on Crestwood Ave?
So that is one potential use of the funds. And again, the money goes where you say it does. Crestwood is one potential pilot project. It has real significant returns on investment, on that investment, because the property is already owned by Habitat. Habitat is ready and willing and able to build on those lots. However, when they bring potential applicants in who may be moving into those homes, the rest of the homes in that neighborhood need a little bit of upkeep. It's not beautification. It is truly critical repairs. I drove down there the other day before coming so I could truly see what the issues are. And some of those homes back in their heyday were the adorable little white Main Street houses, right? Those with a gorgeous front porch. It doesn't have that anymore. Some of these railings are falling, some of these porches are falling in, some of the roofs need to be replaced. This $20,000 could support a project like Crestwood.
Okay. Questions? Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and thank you, board, for coming and being here as well. And I believe we have the Farmville EMS is here.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry for being late. We've been tied up. As y'all know, every time you turn around, the EMS truck in Farmville is typically going somewhere. I am the chief of the EMS. My name is Kyle Willis. Right now, we have 5 volunteers that are on the department, supplemented by 15 part-time people that work at the department. We provide paramedic level care to the town of Farmville, the area of Farmville, and then anywhere else in the county that they need to send us. We presently, right now, are on track this year to run about 1,700 calls this year. When I started at Farmville EMS back in 1994, we ran 700 calls a year. So you can see our call volumes increased. The acuity of patients in Farmville has gotten worse. We're all getting older, as much as I hate to say it. I'm in that same group too. We're all getting there. But we do see a lot of sick people in town. With the medical center in Greenville, we have a lot of people that do move to this area. They do move to Farmville. We have very sick clientele in Farmville. With the interstate running through town or through the outskirts, you see us out there a lot. We work hand in hand with the fire department. We have a great working relationship. We have a great working relationship with the police department. And it's honestly, I can say, as bad as this job is some days, it is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure for us to be able to service this town. Our budget request, as we put in every year, the supplemental money, what we put in for is to do additional things in Farmville to support the town. Extra crews on at the Dogwood Festival, extra crews to go to the Farmville Central football games and basketball games. We have actually had 3 cardiac arrests at Farmville Central in the past 10 years. One of them was a 14-year-old student during the middle of the school day. That made the news. One of them was at one of the basketball games. In fact, I got a call from somebody at the basketball game while I was on vacation that was telling me everything the crew was doing. And then we had another cardiac arrest at the high school. We don't like to think about these things, but unfortunately it is a reality. We also use the additional funding that we get from town to do things like public CPR. If a church calls and says, we've got an AED, we need a CPR course, we load up, we go there, we do CPR with them. We get 1 night, 30 nights, it does not matter. This program is held at the Methodist Church. One of their members actually had a cardiac arrest on Sunday morning in service. People in church got the AED, applied the AED, the defibrillator to their person. They actually defibrillated them and had a pulse back by the time we got to the Methodist Church from the station. That was about 3 minutes. We have one of the quickest response times in Pitt County. We average from 911 dispatch to on scene 7.5 minutes. The national average is 15 minutes. So we're on top of it. When I say we're the paramedic provider, paramedic is the highest level of care that you can get outside the hospital. And the way I explain to people in simple terms, we have everything in the back of the EMS unit the emergency department has, with the exception of x-ray machines, CT machines, and doctors. We have ultrasounds back there. We have pacemakers back there. Last month we put a sapphire pump on the truck, and what the IV pump, when you go to the hospital, you get all these drips and all these machines hanging up. We actually have those pumps on the truck now, so we're able to provide medications in a safer manner to our citizens. A lot of times folks don't understand why sometimes we stay for a long time and sometimes why we leave quick. We are trained now that we stabilize the patient before we go to the hospital. If you're having a heart attack or a stroke, we try to be gone in less than 10 minutes if you're stable. But other than that, we will sit there at the house and we will do everything the emergency department can do for the first 30 minutes. And then we try to provide a transport to the hospital at that point. Our doors are always open. Actually, anybody in town, I'll leave this out here for anybody in town. If you want to come by the station, see the trucks, ring the doorbell. We'll let you in, we'll let you look at everything. We do have a ride-along program that if somebody comes and signs a waiver that they won't sue us if they see some bad stuff, they're welcome to ride with us for a 12-hour shift and just see what it's like. Of course, the way it would go if you rode with me and signed a waiver to stay, we'd sit there all day and talk about the sun coming up and the sun going down, and about the time you left, you'll hear us going all over the place. But I'll be glad to answer any questions or help you with anything you'd like to know.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all of our first responders out there. We really appreciate what you do. And I believe last but not least here, and let me make, Historic HB Sugg, Yaya?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
We are so happy to be before you guys this afternoon. I know it has been a long hour, but I promise you what we have to say is worth listening to. What you guys have before you is part of our presentation, so you can be there. And these young ladies in front are also showing the audience what we have to show you guys on this evening. My name is Shakana Harris. I'm a licensed clinical social worker for the state of North Carolina. But today I get to stand before you as an adult support for the Yaya program, which is housed here right off of Wallace Street in Farmville, North Carolina. It gives me great joy to stand here with you guys about this. This program is for ages 13 to 19 years of age. That is a pivotal moment for these young folks because at that age, normally most of them are at home in the summertime. What we are asking for is funding for a 3-week summer program for these young people. That 3-week summer program will actually go over a span of different things in the amount of faith, identity, entrepreneurship, career, and advancement. The purpose of this is when the young person doesn't have a strong sense of who they are, what they believe, or where they belong, it often creates instability, and that instability shows up in anxiety, depression, or even emotional distress. And in this area, we want to make sure we are supporting these young adults down here in Farmville, North Carolina. As you can see, week 1 is about identity, faith, and purpose. During that time, the first week we're going to introduce everyone, get them hooked up to a mentor. In addition to, we're going to establish group dynamics, set personal goals for each person, and begin exploring creative expression through storytelling, through art, through their experiences, and everything they have to offer into the program. As we continue on into week 2, that is career, employment, and entrepreneurship. It focuses on equipping youth with the foundation knowledge and practical skills needed to successfully enter the workforce. And we're going to explore entrepreneurial opportunities. This week bridges the gap between their faith and real-world application by helping participants understand how their faith, their God-given gifts, and interests can translate into career paths. As we continue on into week 3, education, leadership, and future planning. This week emphasizes goal setting, leadership development, and personal responsibility. Week 3 empowers participants to move forward with confidence, direction, a faith-centered mindset as they prepare for the next stage of their lives. As you see these young ladies and gentlemen that was with us, we have two people that are not here with us tonight because we've been running this program since 2024. And as a result, some of those young men and women have gotten gainful employment, they're already in college, and they're doing amazing things. My colleague, Dr. Carrie Bergeson, is also going to fill in on why this is important.
Good evening. Thank you everyone for lasting this long. This is a very long time, so I will be as concise as I can be. So I am Dr. Carrie Bergeson. I am part of ECU's faculty in the Human Development and Family Science Department, which means from womb to tomb. If it's there, I have studied it, I have something with it. I'm also a certified family life educator, which means those day-to-day questions you have about how do I actually thrive, I again have pillars of expertise in that to help have those conversations. With that, why is this important? All my titles aside, this is important because all the things everybody spoke about here came from somebody that was a youth. And the town of Farmville, your highest citizenship is 10 to 19 years old. So if we're not investing in them, it won't look like this every time there's a town hall meeting. Why do we invest in them? Because civic engagement and community involvement consistently for decades has shown that youth that are involved remain involved. They want to show up, but they often don't have places to show up. That's what makes community-based organizations pivotal in communities. If you have those and kids have access to them, they will go. How do we know? Not only does the research show us, but as Shakana pointed out, we've been running this for almost 2 years now, off the backs of our own selves. And we have investments of any individuals in the community that every time they hear about it, they're like, how do we get involved? And we're getting to a point now where money, for one thing that everybody needs and doesn't want to ask, that's where we're at. We're at a place where we have applied for grants. We have applied for community collaborations that involve money, but again, many people are strapped for that. How do we know this will work? Because again, we've been doing it for 2 years. So, what we would really love is further help, if any support, right? But also, all the organizations that are here today, the kids want to be involved. Part of Yaya is they advocate for themselves and the community, but also they choose a community engagement project. They choose what is important to them and the community. So coming here, they get to hear what is out there. Our first time running it, the kids chose to run a Unity for Community Day. From start to finish, they made phone calls, they went door to door to tell people about it. They wanted resources in the community to come out to where we were, have music, have food, and have community members know of resources that they probably didn't know existed. That was their first choice. Let me tell you, on a shoestring budget, they made it work. And people showed up. And it made the kids want to keep coming back. How also will we know it works? Free of my own time and no money of anyone, I will be evaluating. Evaluating during the program, after the program, to be able to present to you how many people did we reach? How many collaborations did we connect with? How many networks do we now have? So again, we will be able to show you your investment into your youth not only is worth it, but we can make those numbers also show you if you're a numbers person. Any questions?
Thank you so much for joining us today. And I believe with that, it wraps up our presentations from organizations requesting money for our 2026-27 calendar year. We're going to jump into, turn it over to Town Manager Justin Oakes for authorization of stop work order on the Farmville Fire Station project.
Thank you, Mayor. And quickly before we get into items 8 and 9, Board, if you're having about a deja vu, you're not mistaken here. These next 2 items, as you will recall, when we had our special meeting in March, during that meeting, the board took action on these 2 items. After the meeting, we consulted with the School of Government because we realized that during that meeting we had failed to come out of closed session prior to making the motions on those 2 items. So we consulted with the School of Government and they said it was not an issue, but we just would need to, at another meeting, take action on these items in an open session. So that's what we're doing this evening, is just to bona fide those couple of motions. First of which, item 8 in your agenda, this is the authorization of the stop work order for the Farmville Fire Station project.
Town Manager Oakes, are we able to lump these together, or we need to do these separately?
We need to take them separately.
Separately, okay. Town Manager Oakes has requested a motion for the authorization of stop work order for the Farmville Fire Station project. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we authorize the stop work order for the Farmville Fire Station.
Commissioner Flanagan has made a motion for the authorization of the stop work order. Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. This has been, we'll move forward.
And item number 9, same situation. This was the authorization to allow the town manager to enter into an agreement with Terracon for the environmental review record preparation services at an amount not to exceed $15,000. I've included the agreement in your packet tonight. The total cost for those services were $8,500.
Do we have a motion to allow Town Manager Oakes to work directly with Terracon on the environmental review record, not to exceed $15,000?
Make a motion for the authorization to allow town manager to enter into the agreement with Terracon for the environmental review record preparation services not to exceed $15,000.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Fields. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion moves forward. Thank you. And Town Manager Oakes, I'm going to turn this one over to you as well.
All right. The next item before you is, go on one page and go back. The next item before you, this is a resolution approving the conveyance of property to the town of Macclesfield. North Carolina General Statute 160A-274 authorizes a governmental unit in the state to exchange with, lease to, lease from, sell to, or purchase from any other governmental unit any interest in real or personal property upon such terms and conditions as the governmental unit deems wise, with or without consideration. In this case, I'm talking with our utility director, Brian Shackelford. He's determined that it would be in the best interest of the town for the electric department to convey some old electric meters to the town of Macclesfield, and is deemed to do so for no consideration. Talking with Brian, these are old meters that the town no longer uses. We've upgraded to a new metering system. So these are some old meters that the town of Macclesfield could use. They're currently still using this type of metering. The value we discussed in this may be $1 per meter, if that. So with that being said, the resolution here this evening would be to convey these meters, 100 of these meters transferred to the town of Macclesfield for no consideration.
And you said 100?
100 meters, yes.
Do we have a motion authorizing the conveyance of personal property of these 100 meters from the town of Farmville to the town of Macclesfield?
May I ask a question?
Yes. Absolutely.
Would it, I'm just asking for accounting purposes, maybe be more wise to just put a dollar value on it so it kind of clears the books with zero on it, or I'm good with either way, I'm just asking, because I know some instances I've seen that.
Yeah, I think we've talked with when we were researching this, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong here on this, but I believe in talking with the auditors on this, I believe just following that general statute that we could do with no consideration, it won't have any issue on the book. I think it may actually further complicate if we put a price on those potentially. Am I speaking out of turn on that, Amy? Okay.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to proceed with the sale to the equipment to the city of Macclesfield.
Commissioner Smith has made a motion. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion moves forward. Last on our list is the presentation of Town Manager's recommended budget for our 26-27 fiscal year.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor's mentioned, and before you this evening, I have provided you your annual budget notebooks. Just wanted to go over a few quick items this evening, just a quick overview of the budget, and then before we wrap up, we will schedule both the proposed budget workshop as well as the budget hearing. But before we get to that, just some quick highlights of the budget. Similar to last year, this year's recommended budget takes a conservative stance on new expenditures of any major cost. The most significant funding challenges are going to continue to occur in the general fund, where the primary revenue sources are particularly constrained, and the prospect for significant revenue growth is unlikely in the near term. Financial condition of the enterprise funds, which are water, sewer, and electric funds, is relatively strong, but as in years past, we must continue to pay particular attention to maintain a healthy reserve in those funds to maintain fiscal health and to weather any unforeseen expenses that may be on the forefront. Electric, water, and sewer usage rates are proposed to remain unchanged for the upcoming fiscal year. An increase of $5 to the usual flat rate is being proposed to each of these funds to help maintain a sustainable rate structure to meet capital needs and to address the continued high cost of supplies and materials. Solid waste collection fees are proposed to increase by 2.4%. This reflects the Consumer Price Index adjustment that's being imposed by GFL Environmental. It will be effective with the July billing per its contract with the town. This fee increase will not result in any additional revenue for the town. There's been no appropriation of unrestricted or undesignated fund balance proposed in the general fund, water fund, sewer fund, or the electric fund. There are no new full-time staff positions recommended for the upcoming year. A 2% merit, a 3% COLA, and a continuation of the town's longevity pay plan have been included to keep the town in a position to retain and recruit quality employees in a competitive job market. All of those numbers are unchanged from a year ago. Funding is recommended for a few important capital purchases for the upcoming year. These proposed capital outlay items and projects that are proposed to be include street resurfacing, construction of sidewalk segments and sidewalk repairs, miscellaneous utility system upgrades, an electric bucket truck, 4 new police cruisers, new computer equipment, improvements at Town Hall, and improvements at the town's recreational facilities. And so that's just a brief overview of some of the highlights of the budget. Now that you have the budget, you can begin your review. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Amy. One of the things that the board will need to do tonight, as we have done in years past, we schedule a budget retreat meeting, and I've reached out to this group by email. It looks like the time that we've established that we can meet would be May the 19th at 3 o'clock, and it would be at the Farmville Public Library. And the board would also need to schedule the public hearing for action on the budget, and that would be proposed for June the 1st of 2026.
So we are looking for 2 motions, one for our May 19th, 3 p.m. Farmville Public Library budget retreat, and then one for our June 1st, 2026 budget meeting.
That's correct. And that second one is scheduling a public hearing.
Scheduled public hearing. Do we have a motion for our May 19th, 3 p.m. Budget retreat at the Farmville Public Library?
May I ask a question? Is that a meeting open to the public, or is it like a closed session?
That meeting has generally been open to the public.
I will make a motion to approve the date of May 19th for the town budget meeting.
Commissioner Smith's made a motion for May 19th, 3 p.m. at the Farmville Public Library to be our budget retreat. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? May 19th it is. Seconded for our public hearing on the budget, June 1st, 2026. And what time would that be, sir?
That will be 5:30. That will be our regular scheduled meeting.
Regular scheduled meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to make June 1st, 2026 at 5:30 our public hearing for our budget?
I make a motion for June 1st at our regularly scheduled meeting to be our budget meeting, open to the public.
Commissioner Smith has made a motion for June 1st. I'm sorry, Fields. I'm sorry. You've done so many tonight. I just went right there. I'm sorry. Commissioner Fields has made a motion for our June 1st, 2026 regular scheduled meeting for our public hearing for our debate. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? June 1st it is. And now we have come to our citizens' comments portion of our evening. This is where anyone can step up to the podium, ask questions about what you have seen and heard tonight. You have 3 minutes, and we invite anyone to come up. If you will say your name and your address.
Stephen Hardy, Braz, 3340 North Green Street. So a $5 increase of the base rates for each of the 3 utilities each month is $180 per year for each home and business in town, if I understand that correctly.
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure that everyone understands that in simple language. So it's a relief to hear that the construction on the first phase of the new fire station may start back in another month or a month and a half. And as you most likely read in my recent published letter to the editor of the Daily Reflector, the suspension of construction is concerning. Mr. Mayor, I know that you prefer to focus on moving forward, but I and others who have to pay the taxes to cover the cost of the mistake, however, would like the issue of accountability not to be put aside. In the spirit of transparency, Commissioner Smith asked for a timeline report or so. I'd like to request that report, that statement about the fire station contain the information regarding the costs associated with this interruption, such as the predicted 2 extra months of rent the town has to pay for the historical current station's location, an estimate of additional cost due to inflation, materials, or increase in fuels. We have to cover this mistake as taxpayers. I'd like to know how much we're in debt for someone's mistake. And if possible, who made the mistake? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Artie Braz. Come right on up.
My name is Jeff Samita, 3281 Schoolview Drive in Dalton Cove, I guess along East Wilson Street, and wanted to talk a little bit about a sidewalk. There's been a couple places, some folks mentioned the library, museum, art center. I mean, there's a lot of stuff downtown. Dalton Cove's kind of landlocked right now. There's really no way for families or kids or the elderly to walk down there. There's not a good sidewalk access. So, I'm sorry, I think it's Wes, right? Earlier I was talking, I guess you are reviewing the possibility of a sidewalk from Dalton Cove down to Davison Street, or Davis Street, the road. And I guess our community supports that, if you can make it happen. And I'm a biker too, so, I mean, we'd like to be able to bike down, at least the young kids, you know, they can start learning to ride. I mountain bike, but, you know, they can start learning to ride down the road a little bit or down the sidewalk. But it is landlocked right now, so. I know it'll be an expense. It probably won't be cheap, but if you could consider it, we'd appreciate it. So that's all I had. Any questions? Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Next.
Hi, Lisa Arnie Brashby, 340 North Green Street. So we heard some amazing, compelling stories for organizations who are requesting funding from the town. And I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions because I imagine it must be really hard. But what is the criteria that the town uses to determine which organizations are going to receive money and how much money they're going to receive? And is that something that you all can share, you know, with us so we know how these decisions are made? So when the funds are allocated, you know, we have an idea of how that decision has been achieved. Thank you. Do we have those?
Town Manager Oaks, is that something we can answer, or?
Typically, in the past, they've been deliberated at the, there's no decision obviously made this evening. Those discussions are had as a part of the budget hearing that we've scheduled in mid-May.
So it sounds like there's no criteria. It's a discussion. It's not like there's criteria by which you follow to get to these decisions. You all just discuss it amongst yourselves. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Has everyone spoken up tonight here at some point or another? We still got time. It's only 7:45. Okay. This was an excellent town hall meeting. Thank you to everyone who took the time to come out here, whether you were presented, whether you were a citizen just listening to the requests that are here. Your involvement matters and it makes a difference. So thank you for being here tonight with us. Do we have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, May 4th, 2026?
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Smith has made a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye, there we go. All those opposed? Thank you so much for being here tonight. You'll have a great evening.